Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Out of Ideas for Real. My 28 female, smart, funny, charming boyfriend, 30 male, has literally no friends. I could really use your help. I'm using a throwaway for obvious reasons. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years now. The relationship has been nothing but wonderful, but there's this one thing that has been kind of weird to me. He really has no friends. Like, not a single one. When I carefully asked him about it, he just said, "Oh, I don't do friendships. I don't see the point. I barely have time for you. I work a lot and you and my family are all I need." He's right about barely having time for me. He's a surgeon and works 60 to 70 hours a week. Isn't it odd, though, that he doesn't long for friendship with people? He's very sociable. All of my friends love him. He's funny, he gets along great with my family, but everything he does alone. He goes out to eat alone. He goes to the movies by himself, and he works out alone. I asked his family about it and they just told me, yeah, that's just him. He's kind of a lone wolf, haha. I don't know if that makes him an introvert because, as I said, he is amazing with people. He's the life of the party every single time. He makes every waiter and cashier laugh and he's amazing with children and animals. He just says friendships are obligations. People will expect me to hang out with them, do stuff for them, and unload their problems on me. I don't want any of that. That's why I don't pursue friendships with anyone. This is how I choose to live my life. Fair enough, but isn't that odd? I'm not one to judge, but I couldn't imagine having no friends and doing everything by myself. He's amazing to me. He takes me out regularly and he's caring and loving, so I don't think people don't want to be friends with him. We're thinking about getting married in 2 or 3 years, and I've thought about who he is even going to invite. Who's gonna be his best man? I know it sounds silly, but it's been bothering me a lot for some reason. My friends really like him, and he'll gladly come along when I ask him to go to the bar with us, but he has never made an attempt to form a friendship with anyone, as far as I know. Well, OP, I don't particularly see any red flags. From your description of him, he sounds like a pretty decent and good boyfriend, a nice person, everybody likes him. He works a lot though, so he doesn't have a lot time for you, but that would be like the only negative thing that you've said so far, apart from him not having any friends, which I don't think is that weird to be honest. He gave you a pretty solid explanation as to why he doesn't want to do friendships. And also from what I understand, being an introvert doesn't necessarily mean that you're socially awkward and just choose not to be anywhere near people all the time. You can be a sociable person, you can talk and you can be funny and all that stuff and still just enjoy or prefer to be alone than with other people. Now, maybe there could be something else going on that you perceive and this is why it bothers you, but from what you wrote on the post, I don't see any reason why it should. What do you guys think? What would you tell OP? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Ashley says, I think being a surgeon and working those hours probably does play a big role. I feel like even in order to become a surgeon, you have to be prepared to essentially make that your life. And as others have said, as long as it's not causing any sorts of problems, if this is what he prefers, then it's not hurting anything. I have a best friend who lives a state away and then a few other good friends, but they've all moved away for work or grad school, so I now mainly have acquaintances here, no real friends. It's my boyfriend and myself, and you know what? I'm really happy. I spend a lot of time with my boyfriend, which I love, but I usually do me when we're not together, and adding a big social life would be forced for me. I do have moods where I want to go out, meet new people, make friends, etc. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty happy in my life and don't feel like I need anything to change. M. Knight 1979 says, introvert here. People wear me out, most anyway. I gauge how much I like someone based on how much energy I feel I have used up being around them. My wife and my kids energize me mentally, maybe not all the time, but the vast majority of the time. My parents are the same to a degree, and a handful of other people as well allow me to stay stable energy-wise. Other people exhaust me. Drama drains me completely. Introverts recharged by being alone mostly. Extroverts typically recharge by being around people. You are so special to him that you don't drain him mentally. You probably are one of the few people that give him energy, or that he views as more than worthy to put energy into all the way. It's likely who he is. He goes out with you and is always nice seemingly because he cares about you and values your happiness. How would you feel if he didn't want you to go out or to just start staying in with him all the time? Honestly, think about that question. It's likely just not who you are and would not feel good. Pushing him will cause him to feel uncomfortable too. Express your concern by asking him questions, not by judging, and then believe his answers if he has given you no reason to doubt and his actions are consistent with the explanation. This is a personal truth for him. It's actually the same as thinking it's weird that he doesn't like some food or he likes some food. I personally hate fish. It wouldn't matter how much you talked to me about it. It's not in my makeup to like it. I'll be polite and eat it if it was made for me when someone didn't know, but I'm doing it to be polite, not because I like it. Ayumu says, I think your boyfriend is my spirit animal. He's what is referred to as a girlfriend guy. He gets all his social interaction from one person on a deep emotional level and a few acquaintances at places he is obligated to be. School, work, gym, clubs, etc. For introverts, interacting with people costs mana. If you spend all your mana, it starts costing health. They both regenerate, but once your mana bar is empty, any social interaction is very, very frustrating and draining. Alright, well, the community seems to believe that OP's boyfriend is an introvert, and we also learned that one of the commenters doesn't like fish. So now, let's move on to the first update to see how this story continues. First of all, thanks for all the supportive messages and replies to my post from 3 days ago. I admit that I hadn't done any research on what being introverted entails before submitting my post. I admit that I was wrong and that I realized that introverts can indeed be good with people and be the life of the party. Excuse my ignorance, please. It's just something I had never dealt with before. Now to the actual update. Please don't crucify me, but I reached out to someone that knows him very well. They were childhood friends. I know that's contradictory to what I said about my boyfriend, but I don't know what else I should call this guy. And they went to college and med school together. I wanted to get someone else's perspective and got a lot more than I had hoped for. Here's the gist of what he told me. Apparently, my boyfriend is a complete sociopath, has cheated on every girlfriend he has ever had multiple times, and probably has cheated on me too. He poisoned his ex-girlfriend's dog because he felt like she was not giving him enough attention. His parents rely on him for money, his mother can't work and his dad works a low-paying job, and he controls all their finances. Now, all of these things could be lies, but how could I possibly know? As far as I know, this guy has no reason to lie about things like that, but what do I know? I can't even investigate any further since I simply don't know any more people that have ever been close to him. He doesn't use any social networks. Said friend has urged me to get out of the relationship as soon as possible, but I'm just shocked. He has been nothing short of amazing to me. I don't want any of these allegations to be true. Additional information from OP's comments. I am not planning on dumping him until I know the whole truth. I love and trust my boyfriend, and I admit that I probably went overboard with the sleuthing, but having heard all these things from his former friend, I really need to know more. Also, English isn't my first language. We're not from the US. Where my boyfriend and I live, people are real, full-time working doctors at his age. No residency or anything like that. I have also asked the guy that I have messaged about the ex-girlfriend, and he has given me her name and Facebook profile. I have messaged her, but she has not yet responded. I have decided that I will confront my boyfriend tomorrow morning with what his friend has said about him. He is at work right now, but he'll get home in a few hours. Thanks for all the advice. I will update as soon as I know more. Okay, well that took a weird turn, so I ask you guys now. What do you think? Who do you believe? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the final update to see how this story ends. Sorry for taking so long to update. I have gotten a lot of messages asking me if I'm alright and if he hurt me when I confronted him. I am physically fine. So, like I said previously, I did ask the friend for the girlfriend's contact information and he gave it to me. I told her almost the same thing that I told his friend and asked whether she could confirm that or not. When she replied to my message, she asked me for my number. I gave it to her. She called me and told me to get the F out of that relationship. She said that she was worried about my safety. Apparently, he had cheated on her, and when she found out and confronted him, he beat her senseless and told her that if she ever said anything, he'd end her life. She was afraid of him and told her co-workers and friends that she had a bad mountain biking accident. I was actually feeling bad about confronting him after a 16-hour shift. I don't really know why, I guess I just didn't want to believe anything of what I've been told was true. But I had to do it for the peace of my mind. I had printed out the Facebook message his friend sent me prior to his arrival. He came home and I told him we had to talk. I know I always hated the "we need to talk" speech, but he was totally calm. He just said, "Yeah, sure, what's up?" I handed him the chat log. He skimmed over it. He didn't even read it. I saw him look at the names, smirk, and then skim over the rest. Faked a smile and said, "If you take a stranger's word over mine, then that says a lot about the trust you have in me." I apologized. Again, I was totally taken aback by his calm reaction and asked him why anyone would make up such lies about him. He shrugged and said, "Well, if I'm such a bad guy apparently, why am I not in jail yet?" I literally didn't know what to say. I expected him to deny it like any sane person would, or to apologize and fall to his knees. You can choose to believe what these non-names say about me and get the F out, or you can trust me, your future husband. I hesitated for a few seconds because I was so effing confused and scared at the same time. I told him that I was gonna stay at my own place until all of this was sorted out. He shrugged and said that that was alright. I left and went to my place. Since then, he has changed his number, changed the locks to his house. I have a key and tried to at least get some closure. I know, that was a bad idea. And every time I rang the doorbell, no one has answered. I have no idea if anything that has been said about him is true. I don't know what the F happened. We have had no contact since I confronted him. He was such a loving and gentle guy when I met him, but then crap just blew up in my face. It'll take a while to get over all of this, and to be honest, I can't make sense of this at all. I did message the friend again and told him what happened, and he just told me, "Well, I told you so," roughly translated. And that's it. That's all OP ever wrote. No comments, no follow-up, no nothing. So here's my takeaway. If the guy is truly a dangerous sociopath, then OP got out just when she had to, so good for you, OP. So at this point, I'd like to ask you guys once again, what do you think is going on here? Is he a sociopath or not? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to another post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge, and it's by user ZingZJazz. What could go wrong? This was many years ago when I was trying to break into the jazz scene as a singer in a new city I had moved to. I had shared some recordings of mine with a super talented musician and band leader who lived there, and based on that, he invited me to come out to one of their shows and sit in on a few songs. It was a great opportunity for me to perform in front of an audience of jazz lovers and also to make music and connect with several really wonderful players. His guidelines were simple, just pick 3 jazz standards that I thought I would shine on, and he and his band would back me on whatever I chose. I spent the week considering which songs would demonstrate my skill and also carry the most emotional impact, and I practiced them every day. That Friday night I took extra time to try to look good, but I was still pretty nervous and self-conscious when I got to the crowded club. I literally knew nobody in this town. In a stroke of luck, someone left a little 2-seat table just as the band began and I snagged it. During the break after the first set, the band leader came over to chat with me. He was a really nice guy and generous with his talents. He didn't need to let me sit in with his band. As a matter of fact, many people wouldn't have done it. I was really grateful to have met him and felt hopeful about the contacts I would make through him, but more importantly, I thought we might end up being friends. He told me that after the break, they would play a few songs and then he would invite me up. He then went off to mingle with all the other people who wanted to talk to him. As soon as he got up, a woman slid into the seat that he had just vacated. She was tall and pretty and said that she heard that the band leader had invited me to sit in, that she was also a singer and she wanted to welcome me to town. "We chick singers have to stick together," she said with a beautiful smile. Could this night get any better? Here I was making another friend already. "What songs are you going to sing?" We chatted a bit and I told her what I had chosen and why. She was really charming. As the band took stage, she excused herself to go back to the group of friends she was with. She flashed that beautiful smile and told me with a wink that she was sure we'd see each other again real soon. The band finished the first song of the second set, and then the band leader called up the other woman that I had just met. It was odd that she hadn't mentioned she was going to sing too, but I was glad that I get a chance to hear her. And then I sat there utterly shocked and dumbfounded as she proceeded to sing all three of the songs that I had prepared. I looked over and saw her friends looking back and forth between her and me, laughing. I was so stunned, mainly because never in 1,000 years would it occur to me to do something so crappy to another person, let alone a fellow musician. She literally came over to me and acted friendly to find out what songs I was singing so she could pull that stunt. Welcome to your new town. I was so hurt and humiliated. She was, at this point, singing the third song directly to me, to the great amusement of her friends. The band leader knew that something was up, but he had no idea why, as I hadn't told him what songs I would do. My brain was racing, trying to come up with a way to deal with the situation, and then it hit me. She was pretty good, but she wasn't that good. She was a little formulaic, a bit unoriginal. She was depending on her looks and presence, the tricks she had learned in her voice lessons. She was technique heavy and soul lacking. In other words, she was baffling them with BS, and I knew what I had to do. Her last song ended, and she left the stage to generous applause from the audience and cheers from her table of friends. The band leader called me up. I handed him my lead sheets and whispered to him, "She stole my songs, but please trust me on this. Let me do the same songs." Fortunately, he got it instantly and nodded with a little smile. And I sang the living hell out of those songs. I put every ounce of my training, but also my emotions, my angst, my fears, my longing, my loneliness, my joy. I wasn't aware of the room, but for a moment between songs when I glanced out to see her sitting there with her mouth hanging open and her friends now sitting still and silent. The room exploded when I finished and I got a standing ovation. Someone actually shouted, "That's how you do it!" I honestly felt kind of bad for her, but I think she learned something that night. The band leader came up to me later and told me that he had wanted to teach her a lesson in humility for a long time and thanked me for letting him be a part of it. I ended up living in that town for 5 years and became good friends with the band leader and many other musicians in town. I never got close with that other singer, but she never tried to pull something like that with me again, and I think she never tried it with anyone else either. I still think it was one of my best performances ever. And that's how you do it. Perfect, OP. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful piece of petty revenge. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.